Evgenie was not in her good graces. "He has astonished me," said Ivan Fedorovitch. "I nearly fell down with surprise. I could hardly believe my eyes when I met him in Petersburg just now. Why this haste? That's what I want to know. He has always said himself that there is no need to break windows." Evgenie Pavlovitch remarked here that he had spoken of his intention of leaving the service long ago. He had, however, always made more or less of a joke about it, so no one had taken him seriously. For that matter, he joked about everything, and his friends never knew what to believe, especially if he did not wish them to understand him. "I have only retired for a time," said he, laughing, "for a few months, at most for a year." "But there is no necessity for you to retire at all," complained the general, "as far as I know." "I want to go and look after my country estates. You advised me to do that yourself," was the reply, "and then I wish to go abroad." After a few more expostulations, the conversation drifted into other channels, but the prince, who had been an attentive listener, thought all this excitement about so small a matter very curious. "There must be more in it than appears," he said to himself. "I see the poor knight has come on the scene again," said Evgenie Pavlovitch, stepping to Aglaya's side. To the amazement of the prince, who overheard the remark, Aglaya looked haughtily and inquiringly at the questioner, as though she would give him to know, once for all, that there could be no talk between them about the poor knight, and that she did not understand his question. "But not now. It is too late to send to town for a Pushkin now. It is much too late, I say," Colia was exclaiming in a loud voice. "I have told you so at least 100 times." "Yes, it is really much too late to send to town now," said Evgenie Pavlovitch, who had escaped from Aglaya as rapidly as possible. "I am sure the shops are shut in Petersburg. It is past 8 o'clock," he added, looking at his watch. "We have done without him so far," interrupted Adelaida in her turn. "Surely we can wait until tomorrow." "Besides," said Colia, "it is quite unusual, almost improper for people in our position to take any interest in literature. Ask Evgenie Pavlovitch if I'm not right. It is much more fashionable to drive a wagonette with red wheels." "You got that from some magazine, Colia," remarked Adelaida. "He gets most of his conversation in that way," laughed Evgenie Pavlovitch. "He borrows whole phrases from the reviews. I have long had the pleasure of knowing both Nicolai Ardalionovitch and his conversational methods, but this time he was not repeating something he had read. He was alluding, no doubt, to my yellow wagonette, which has, or had, red wheels. But I have exchanged it, so you are rather behind the times, Colia." The prince had been listening attentively to Radomski's words, and thought his manner very pleasant. When Colia chaffed him about his wagonette, he had replied with perfect equality, and in a friendly fashion. This pleased Muishkin. At this moment, Vera came up to Lizabetha Prokofievna, carrying several large and beautifully bound books, apparently quite new. "What is it?" demanded the lady. "This is Pushkin," replied the girl. "Papa told me to offer it to you." "What? Impossible!" exclaimed Mrs. Epanchin. "Not as a present? Not as a present I should not have taken the liberty," said Lebedeff, appearing suddenly from behind his daughter. "It is our own Pushkin, our family copy, Annenkoff's edition. It could not be bought now. I beg to suggest, with great respect, that your excellency should buy it, and thus quench the noble literary thirst which is consuming you at this moment," he concluded grandiloquently. "Oh, if you will sell it, very good, and thank you. You shall not be a loser. But for goodness sake don't twist about like that, sir. I have heard of you. They tell me you are a very learned person. We must have a talk one of these days. You will bring me the books yourself?" "With the greatest respect and veneration," replied Lebedeff, making extraordinary grimaces. "Well, bring them, with or without respect, provided always you do not drop them on the way. But on the condition," went on the lady, looking full at him, "that you do not cross my threshold. I do not intend to receive you today. You may send your daughter Vera at once, if you like. I am much pleased with her." "Why don't you tell him about them?" said Vera impatiently to her father. "They will come in, whether you announce them or not, and they are beginning to make a row. Lef Nicolaievitch," she addressed herself to the prince, "4 men are here asking for you. They have waited some time, and are beginning to make a fuss, and papa will not bring them in." "Who are these people?" said the prince. "They say they have come on business, and they are the kind of men who, if you do not see them here, will follow you about the street. It would be better to receive them, and then you will get rid of them. Gavrila Ardalionovitch and Ptitsin are both there, trying to make them hear reason." "Pavlicheff's son! It is not worth while," cried Lebedeff. "There is no necessity to see them, and it would be most unpleasant for your excellency. They do not deserve—" "What? Pavlicheff's son?" cried the prince, much perturbed. I know, but I entrusted this matter to Gavrila Ardalionovitch. He told me—" At that moment Gania, accompanied by Ptitsin, came out to the terrace. From an adjoining room came a noise of angry voices, and General Ivolgin, in loud tones, seemed to be trying to shout them down. Colia rushed off at once to investigate the cause of the uproar. "This is most interesting," observed Evgenie Pavlovitch. "I expect he knows all about it," thought the prince. "What, the son of Pavlicheff? And who may this son of Pavlicheff be?" asked General Epanchin with surprise, and looking curiously around him, he discovered that he alone had no clue to the mystery. Expectation and suspense were on every face, with the exception of that of the prince, who stood gravely wondering how an affair so entirely personal could have awakened such lively and widespread interest in so short a time. Aglaya went up to him with a peculiarly serious look. "It will be well," she said, "if you put an end to this affair yourself, at once. But you must allow us to be your witnesses. They want to throw mud at you, prince, and you must be triumphantly vindicated. I give you joy beforehand." "And I also wish for justice to be done, once for all," cried Madame Epanchin, "about this impudent claim. Deal with them promptly, prince, and don't spare them. I am sick of hearing about the affair, and many a quarrel I have had in your cause. But I confess I am anxious to see what happens, so do make them come out here, and we will remain. You have heard people talking about it, no doubt," she added, turning to Prince S. "Of course," said he, "I have heard it spoken about at your house, and I am anxious to see these young men." "They are nihilists, are they not?" "No, they are not nihilists,